All right, guys. Well, I just want to welcome you back to another KevCAM night class here. Got a couple more people piling in here, so. But first things first, just some housekeeping stuff to go over. We are, for those of you guys that are new, we are using GoToWebinar, and everybody is on mute. If you guys do have a questions, you will see a questions pane, and go ahead and type your questions in there, and we'll get those answered right away for you. Tonight, got Mr. Terry Hurley helping out with some questions and anything that comes up today. So Terry will be your co-host playing along here.
Thanks, Kevin. Hello, everyone.
And definitely want to thank you guys for taking your time out of your night to watch this. I'm not much of a baseball guy, but Terry informed me that the old World Series is going on, so we might have a little bit lower attendance than normal today, but we'll make her work. And then also, the night class is getting to be a pretty hot topic for a lot of you guys. So we actually had some companies come out, reach out to us and want to sponsor us. So if you guys would like to do that too, just shoot me an email. And if your guys' company could be a co-sponsor of the night class, doesn't take much at all. But tonight's is MCAD Cafe, and MCAD Cafe is the #1 online magazine manufacturing for CAD and professionals. They offer tips and tricks on their website, interviews, industry news, and a whole lot more. So check them out at MCAD Cafe. So with that being said, this class is solely dedicated for you guys. So if you guys have any subjects that you would like to see, shoot those over to me in the email, and you will get yourself a free t-shirt and hat. I think Clarence was the last one to submit an idea. That was a week or two ago, and I think he should have I think he was wearing it last week, I think he said. So yeah, submit those ideas, and like I said, these classes are solely for you guys. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my email address into the GoToMeeting chat, so everybody has that. Now I'm also going to put in the YouTube link, so if you guys need to reference back and rewatch a video, definitely click on that link, and that's going to bring you to the SolidCAM University channel. And here are all the videos in here that all the previous videos that we've done, and plus some additional ones in there. Did a quick one on how to do fixtures, bringing in fixtures. So there's some helpful ones in here, and there are also some our night class ones in here. So there's a whole slew of movies in here for you guys to check out. You know, if you guys have questions, or if you guys wanted to see a past webinar that we did with the night class, definitely come here, check it out, hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll get updates of new ones that I upload once, twice, sometimes 5 times a week. So definitely go there and check that out, guys. So this week we are going to be covering 3D contour. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter webinar today, just because there isn't a whole lot to talk about with 3D contour, but I tried to come up with a part that shows every angle that you guys can use 3D contour for, and you know what it's used for. So that being said, let's get the ball rolling here. Okay, so I got a part in here. I already put my coordinate system on there, and for those of you guys that are new, if you guys are curious about coordinate system or the fixtures that I added in here, definitely go check out my other videos, and we kind of go over all the different ways of setting the coordinate system on there, and then we go through a whole video just on setting up fixtures and doing simulation and that stuff. So so if you guys have questions on that, definitely reference back that, or shoot me an email. So got a part here, got some 3D surfaces kind of going on here. What Contour 3D is it's basically profile by itself, but what it does is when you guys go to pick the geometry, the Z will actually follow along with the contour. So we got a front end part here that's going to be going up and around and going down, and basically that contour is going to be following the Z depth of your contour line. So hopefully that kind of makes sense for you guys, and we'll go through a bunch of different scenarios, at least as many as I could think of using Contour 3D. A lot of advantages in here. For those of you guys that don't have a full 3D package, this would definitely help you out too, especially when we go to put a chamfer all the way around this top side. We really don't even need to use HSS. We can just use the Contour 3D. So, all right, so let's go ahead and mill the outside profile. So what I'm going to do is just click on my Contour 3D. And like all of our SolidCAM operations, they're all going to look the same for you guys. So it shouldn't look anything different than profile. But you'll see it's just doing like I was saying before, a single profile line on a curved surface is what we're going for here. So I'm going to grab my geometry like I normally do. It's going to wrap it around for me. And for those of you guys who are watching, it might seem a little bit different. I am running SolidCAM 2016 here, so any of you guys that are looking for SolidCAM 2016, shoot me an email right away and we'll get that sent over to you. We're on SP2 Hotfix 1, so it's real stable. Just kind of slowly releasing it out to the public for you guys. So a lot of new features that we added in with 2016. Your save and calculate time is actually going to be running much faster. A lot of new features that we actually added in there too. So. Okay, so we got our geometry. Now let's go ahead and grab our tool. I got some tools already set up here, and we're going to use this big long dong or a 1/2-inch cutter here. And I already got my tool holder on there. I set my coolant, set my feed rate, all that stuff ahead of time for you guys. And like I said, if you guys have questions on geometry, if you guys have questions on tools, anything I'm going through, definitely let me know right now. But I have done night classes prior that go over, picking geometry, tool libraries, all that stuff too. So we got our tool in there. Levels. Levels is a page that you guys really won't have to worry about, except for when I'm doing the outside. And you'll notice when I grab the outside, I pick the top of my chain. So right now, let me just turn my technology to left, and let's just do a save and calculate. You'll see right here, I'm just going right along the top. Well, I want to go all the way down to the bottom. So all we have to do for that is just come to your levels page and just click the depth, and we can just click on the line right there, and now it follows the depth. So now, if I minimize this, you'll see that we went all the way down to the bottom. Now, a couple things in here. One, I really don't want to be starting off right on a arc as the geometry is moving up right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kick that geometry over a little bit so we're starting on a nice flat surface. Real important, not so much on the profile, but when we get into actually doing a chamfer on here, you guys don't want to start with that chamfer on that angle just because we're starting off coming in there at an angle. We want to be on a flat surface. And, if you guys don't have a flat surface, totally fine. You'll just have, maybe just a small little witness mark there. But, it's always best to try to start on something flat first. So we got our depths all set. So now the technology. Lots of stuff in here. And like I said in all of my other classes, technology is where all the goodies are. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a step down of 200 thou. So because we have this long 1/2-inch end mill, take that one cut and we're going to be snapping or getting some major chatter going on here. But you'll notice if I switch this over to center, and I'll actually do this, you have a little bit more tool reference control going from tip to center. Also, if you guys want to do a semi-finish, the tool does have to be on center for that. So now, like I was saying before, is I want to move that geometry so we're not starting right on the angle surface. So I can just click on my geometry button, and this is going to be the same for profile too. So if you guys are curious about moving your start point of your profile, it's the exact same thing. Now you can just do shift of 25%, or if you just click and have your cursor active in this field right here, you can basically click anywhere on the part and you'll see that it moved my tool path. So my original was right here, and now it bumped it over to right here. And I can, click anywhere on the part and it's going to start it off there. So if you guys have an exact point, what you guys can do is do a sketch point down there. So we'll hit the green check mark to that. Let's do a save and calculate. Now, you'll see that my contour follows the the contour of the surface going all the way around. Now we're not, for something that comes up at the bottom, now we're not wasting toolpath going around that, doing the straight lines. We're not cutting air up over here where there would be material if we did a standard profile operation. So let me just, actually what we'll do here is we'll just do a standard profile operation right here. And get that wrapped around. And I'll just kind of show you the difference between the two so you guys can really see what's going on here. All right, the green check mark, technology, we did 200 thou step downs, so we'll do 200 thou here. Okay, so now here is our regular profile operation. So we have a lot of air cutting right here, and then we also have a lot of air cutting down at the bottom here. Plus, obviously I don't want to mill off my block that's, you know, we're being held on by my toe clamps. So, and then also over here, we're going along, we're straight across, so we're machining air, and we don't, I mean, that's the whole objective, not to machine air. So if I switch it over to contour to 3D, yep.
Excuse me, Ronnie Kidder had a question when you asked, wanted to know about would rest of material not cut air, but I think you just answered that.
Yep. So, like I said, that's where the 3D contour really comes into effect is, you know, it's going to follow the geometry all the way around. It's going to follow the Z all the way around, and that way you're staying in contact with that part. And give you a little bit, well, we'll do a trim on the top, and I'll show you, give you a better example of that. Oh, shoot, I forgot to do one thing. Terry, we forgot to probe our part, figure out where our part is. So let's just add a probe real quick. And we'll do a boss. Grab our same geometry here. Grab our probe. And I'm going to do my X and Y. And we'll do a show real quick. And I just need to move my Z down just a little bit here. There we go. And do a save and copy and change this to a Z hit. All right. So now we got our part probed, and I'm going to take and drag this contour 3D down. There we go. So now we probed our part, finding our X and Y. And you can use this probe to measure stuff too. Probed our X and Y, find our center, and then we probed our Z there. Now, showed you guys a different way to use the contour on the outside. So now what I want to kind of go over is this fillet inside here. So basically what I'm going to be doing is taking a ball end mill. Let me just kind of pan this part around here. You can kind of see this fillet kind of follows up and tapers up to nothing right here. So what I'm going to do is grab that geometry, and it's automatically going to find it. So now, for adding operations, two different ways of doing it. You guys can always right-click right here and add milling operations. And unfortunately, you'll find me doing this more common just because when I started using SolidCAM, that's the only way to doing it. But now you can also have the shortcuts right up on top too in your ribbon. So you can just click the contour 3D and do it that way. Okay, so my geometry, actually I've already picked it, so I just got to find which one it is here. Oops, going the wrong way. There we go. So just chain that bottom edge going all the way around right here. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my tool. Now that is a 1/4 inch radius, so we can use a 1/2 inch ball end mill in there. And I got my tool, holder, all that good stuff already added there. Now my levels, I'm not going to even worry about my levels right here. Like I said, a lot of times you guys aren't going to have to touch the levels just because it's solely based off of where that bottom geometry goes. So now in our technology, we're going to leave it on center. Now I can do tip, and you'll see in the message right here, it's doing the calculation off of the tip of the cutter. So it doesn't matter if you're using a ball, a bowl, or a straight flute end mill. It's always going to go off of the edge. But if I wanted to, I can switch it over to center, and it's going to go off the center. Now, you'll get some gouging going on right here because on the flats, it'll be fine, but as soon as we start going up a curvature, you'll see how that flat end mill starts digging in, or that ball end mill starts digging in right there. So go back to tip and basically just do a save and calculate here. And you'll see we got a nice toolpath going in there. And let's go ahead and do a solid verify here. You guys can kind of see what's going on. Well, you can see I'm shanking out here. I know I'm fine just because I got a reduce shank, and I actually didn't even put that in there. I forgot to. But another great feature inside SolidCAM, that full crash detection. Let me slow it down just a little bit here. So what it did is it followed that contour all the way around here. Now I don't have any stock on here, but if we get real close here, you can see it comes in, works its way around, and then let me zoom out here, and goes all the way through, following all the way along. So real nice, easy to use feature for you guys. One thing I do want to add in here is a arc in. So I can do a lead in, do a save and calculate. So you'll see that now I have a nice little tail kind of coming up. So it's coming down, arcing into the material, engaging, and then starts its tool path going all the way around. So really nice. And you guys can have a tangent also. I just like the arc because it's coming straight down from the material and slowly working its way in. So any questions on so far from anybody? Dang, we got a lot more people in here than I thought we would for having that baseball game going on.
Well, the Cubs lead 4-0 now, so.
Okay, so now, one other thing I want to show you here is floor finish. You can check box the floor finish. It's going to be automatically turned on when it's comp to center. You can uncheck it, and it's just basically going to finish up, letting you know it's going to be going right down to the bottom and doing that floor finish. So, okay, so now what I want to do is trim the top side. Like I said, I don't have any stock built on here, but what I kind of want to do is show a representation of how that tool actually goes around using the geometry of the tip. So we will grab this chain, and we'll just grab a short 1/2 inch end mill. Now I'm not going to worry about the levels, and I'm going to keep the cutter right on center. We'll do a save and calculate, and you'll see it follows all the way through. Now let's just do a simulation here, and let's get a side view here. Slow it down. So you'll see the cutter going down. Let's see, that's on the back side. Oop. It's going down in that dip in the front. And let me see if I can get a little bit better angle. Let's do machine sim. With that, the white backsplash, it's a little tough to see here. Okay, so let's get in here and turn off our machine. Okay, so there we go. And we will get a side view. Right. Get zoomed in here for you guys. If I'm going in too much detail, you guys can tell me to stop. Okay, so now I'll run this through. And we gotta go a little bit slower here. Okay, so now it's going down in the back, coming back up here. And see how it's just working right on that tip? and then gets down to the flat surface. And works its way around. Now, I can also change the start point of this too. So if I want to, if you want to move it around, you can definitely move it around at a different start point. Let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else I'm missing here. I think that about covers it. If we want to do a host CAD with 3D, and it gives a little bit better representation of what's going on there. So it actually switches, and you'll actually see the tool path in the green come down to the flat and then raise up again. So it's compensating for that tool diameter of that cutter. So any questions, concerns, anything so far? All right, doesn't look like it. Hopefully we're not putting anybody to sleep yet, Terry. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we're going to chamfer the top. Basically, I don't even have to draw anything in there. What I can do is actually just do a save and copy off this operation and change out my cutter here to a spot drill or a chamfer drill. Now, what I'm going to do is switch this off to left. And we're going to do a finish pass. Now, the thing with the chamfer is we don't have very many options right here, but down at the bottom right, you'll see we have a chamfer option. So in here, as soon as I hit that checkbox, you'll automatically see this chamfer tab pop up right here. If I uncheck it, check it, you can kind of see popping up right here. So it's asking what cutting diameter. Same thing as what we kind of talked about last week in profile of the diameter size. So I'm just going to use 100th of the tip diameter that I want to use. Just doing one finish pass right here. And we turn on cutter comp here. And now we go to our levels. I can just type in, I want to go 20 thou farther down to get a 20 thou chamfer. Save and calculate here. And we'll see we get our toolpath. Now, I want to move that because, like I said before, we don't want to start on a curved surface. We want to start on a flat. So let's go ahead and go to our technology, and let's just shift our spot drill so it starts right here. Start on a nice flat surface. And like I said, it doesn't have to be, but you just, like I said, might get a little tiny witness mark there just when it's starting on a angle surface. Okay, so let's see what this guy looks like. So we're getting that nice chamfer all the way around the entire edge of our part here. Easy as that, guys. And like I said, it's basically the same thing as doing a chamfer on a standard profile. The same guidelines, same thing set up in the chamfer option right here. Now, if you guys want, you can add different arc in, arc out. In the technology, if we want to do a little bit of an overlap, so we're not starting and stopping on the exact point, let's just do a 100th thou overlap. And you'll see that overlap is actually the distance right here. So it's just the distance that it's overlapping going back and forth. So if we wanted something, much greater, we could do 3 and, oops, not 3 inches, do 0.3. Save and calculate, and you'll see how that increased as I made that bigger. So also a nice feature. If you're trying to get a nice clean part, don't want a little witness mark from start and stopping at the exact point, this is a great spot to add that in there. Now, if you guys want to do step downs, you can definitely do that with your chamfer tool or any of the tools in there. Same thing with the clear offset. If we go back to our outside contour here, and maybe we had some material, more stock material in there. We can do a clear offset. So let's just do, I'm trying to think here, what is the distance from right here to right here? It's not going to let me do it with the operation open. Let's go to evaluate real quick. Tape measure from there to there. So if we can make it, we can make a 1 inch fit in there. So if we want, we can do our clear offset, do 1 inch, and we can do step overs of 100 thou. Now we're going in there, doing our clear offsets. So another great feature. Now we're only doing step overs on our finish, so we're not actually going down. So if we wanted to go down, you'd want to add, your 0.2 in here also as your roughing. And now we got all our tool path going around. So if we had to rough this out, go to Solid Verify. It's taken multiple passes to get some of that material out of there for you guys.
Kevin, did you see the question?
No.
If you were to do a profile on the inside of the wall, like you did on the inside, with a step down like the outside, would it generate a lot of air cutting or only cut where material is?
No, great question. Let's just stop this, and I'm just going to turn off that clear offset here. Okay, so now let's go to our inside. And a little trick too, if you guys are trying to figure out what toolpath did what, you got the little check boxes over here and you can kind of see what's going on. Also, I should be showing you guys this too. You can name these. So you can come in here and say, inside, chamfer, or, whatever you guys want. You can add that in there and then we'll change it. Or if you guys are in the operation, you guys can actually just type it in up here as you're doing the operation. So answer your question, what we want to do is do a semi-finish, and we are going to do a step down of, let's just do 100 thou. Now you can do horizontal passes, or we can do parallel to the surface. So if I do parallel to the surface, it's going to be following the contour going down. And so what I need to do is on my levels, my upper level will be right here, and my lower level, trying to remember how we got to do this here. I need it to step down, contour depth. There is a way to step it down. What am I missing here? So what I'm going to do is grab the geometry right here, and let's do a edit real quick, undo right there, green check mark. Now we'll stay on center and levels. Okay, that looks good. And contour depth. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure this out here. 2.57. Okay, so now, I think I got this right now. Simulate this, do a solid verify, slow it down for you guys here. So now we're still cutting no air. Oh, I got my tool on the wrong side here. But you'll see we're not wasting any passes here. Let's go to HostCAD. We're not wasting any passes. It's just going through and following the contour of that surface. So hopefully, George, that kind of makes sense for you. It's following the top contour line as it's going around. So if you guys wanted to rough it down to this point, that's the way you're going to rough it down, going down to this area right here, following that contour all the way around. There should be a way to...
Thank you for the question, George.
Yeah, absolutely. There should be a way to do it by using our other geometry here. Let's start here. And that looks good. And let's do... If we do left, well, let's just try it. And we'll do a rough, actually we'll do a finish, step down of 100 thou. And it's not liking something here, levels, depth. Yeah, George, I'll have to look into it so it follows the bottom contour instead of the top contour. I just got to figure out why, what I got to do to switch it around here. If I go to my technology, keep it on center, it allows me to do my semi-finish, but then it's not stepping down like I want it to here. So let's just put that at 0. So that's how we were before. And, oh, because I have floor finish turned on. No. Yeah, it's just, there is a way to do it, George. I'll have to look into that and get back to you on that one to get it to step down. Just right at the moment, I can't think offhand what I'm missing here to get that to follow. So it just eliminates all the cuts over here, so we start gradually getting more and more cuts as it gets thicker in the surface right here. So, okay, so last thing I want to show is basically another chamfer of what's going on in the center here. Just doing basically an edge break for what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up my last chamfer operation I did and just do a save and copy. And all they have to really do is change around the geometry here. So if I pick new geometry, wraps my geometry around, tool is going to stay the same, levels are all going to stay the same. I can basically just do save and calculate. Now once again, let me just do a simulate here, and I can show you guys that little witness mark that I'm talking about. Okay, so if I zoom way in here, you'll see it. I get a little bit of a thicker spot right here because I was starting on that 3D surface. Now, I have my tolerance set extremely tight to show absolutely every little detail. So we're in the millionths when I'm in my settings here for my verification. But like I said, try to start out on that flat surface as much as possible to eliminate that. So what we'll do to get rid of that right now is we'll just go to our geometry and just click on the field, and we'll just start a nice flat spot. Save and calculate, and let's do a simulate here. And now we get nice even. We don't see any deeper spots or shallower spots all the way through because we're starting on that flat surface. And like I said, you know, when you guys run on your machine, it might be something that you guys might not even see if you guys just have an angled surface. But I am zooming in pretty far when we did see that witness mark there. So let's go ahead and start from the top and go to my simulation here. And let's do machine sim. Now, if you guys don't have this machine sim, really kind of cool here. You can see I have all the doors on there, control panel, everything in there for you guys. So let's just play this through slow here. So we're
and the machine sim comes with the 5-axis Pro, and typically we don't see it too much with just the 3-axis, but in the 5-axis you do. But you can get that on as an add-on. It's $800, but you have to supply us with the model. Unless some cases we have quite a few machines already modeled up. If we've got it, we'll give it to you. I know, like the Haas 750, I had about 6 customers in 1 week come to us, and
Yeah,
with the post and
with the machine sim, it's it's a little bit of money, but if you guys go to figure that this is exactly what you're going to see in the machine, you got the full head, full crash detection of what's going on here. You crash that spindle one time or take out a holder, there's your money right there. So real nice to be able to see and kind of go through here as it's playing through. Let me speed it up just a little bit as we're probing here. And when we're probing, it's automatically writing back to the G54 for us, rewriting the code. So now we're doing our Y hit. Do our Z hit. Now we're doing our profile going all the way around here. I can speed it up a little bit. But let me just turn off the machine housing here and just do a front view. And I mean, you can see the whole head is actually moving up and down too, which is really cool. So let's do a left. And you'll see I get pretty close with that tool holder coming in there. Doing our chamfer. And that's it. Will it simulate macros? Are they built, Clarence, are they built-in macros in SolidCAM that you've had added in there from the post, or is it, what kind of macros are you talking? No. Hand-coded. I actually have never tried hand-code file in there. I would assume it would because it's going to be posting out and it's going to be all together for you. So I would assume that your macros would be included in there. We might just have to do some post tweaking to make sure that when you go to run your hand code or your macros in there, that the machine or the machine sim is going to show that in there. So definitely can be added. Any other questions, guys? That pretty much wraps up. Let's see. May I ask?
Kevin, we had another question from Clarence. We are looking at sim software.
Yeah, definitely. Clarence, if you've been working with Eric on the post, ask him about that, and he'll be able to find that out for you with the machine sim, because the machine sim is basically off of the post files for you guys. So, you know, with machine sim, it's reading those GPP files that they've sent for you. So, definitely something we can add in there because that's part of the cost is the adding the post or the machine sim to the post. So, and it takes a little bit of time. And I mean, if you guys look at this, you know, machine here, lots of detail in here, making sure all my table waves or ways move, you know, all in the correct directions, moving stuff up and down. So all that has to correlate, you know, with the post processor and the G code. So.
Kevin, did you see George had a question?
All right, George, could this function, 3D contour, be used with either a lollipop or a dovetail cutter? I'm putting a chamfer on underside of an irregular surface edge. Guess I've never used lollipop in here, so let's just do a contour. And best way to tell is come in here and try to grab a tool and add one. So it does support a lollipop cutter and the slot mill or the dovetail cutter. So absolutely, you can put that, your geometry, like if you're doing the bottom side here, you'll just pick that bottom side of the geometry right there using that dovetail cutter or your lollipop. You might have to play around with the, being since the lollipop is a full sphere here, you might have to play around with the levels using the plus or minus in your delta to make sure you're not taking too much or you're taking what you want there. But absolutely, you can do that in there. The best thing that I can kind of recommend for, you know, doing undercuts and stuff like that would be HSS, but you can definitely do it with the Contour 3D. HSS, you're going to have way more control over your tool path of what's going on there. But, you know, if you guys don't have HSS, definitely use the 3D contours. Like I said, it's just going to take a little bit more playing around to get to follow that along, just to base it off the depth. And you might also have to play with the, shifting your geometry over one direction or another direction, to get a more of a chamfer or less of a chamfer on there. Or I'm sorry, not your geometry right here, your chamfer tab right here of your cutting diameter. So hopefully that answers your question, George. Do we have any other questions, guys? I'm sorry I don't have anything more to show you, but there's not much in 3D contour that I could kind of come up with here. And like I said, with the night classes, I'm going to be going through, had a lot of requests of people want to see everything in here. So I'm just kind of starting at the top, working my way down here through the list. So so next week we'll be going over pocketing, which is going to be a big one here. If you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask. For those of you guys that are new, what we do is we do the Tell a Friend program. You guys like the software, tell your buddy about it. We'll send you a $50 Visa gift card if they get into a demo. All we need is just a phone number and a name. That's it. Send that over to your account manager or myself, and we'll get that set up. But if you guys just make sure you mention the KevCAM, they'll actually double that value. And if your buddy does buy, you guys get 20% of the sale, which is pretty huge. So any questions at all, guys? Any concerns come up? Anything more that you wanted to see? Like I said, I apologize, it's a little bit shorter than normal, but I just don't know what else to cover with the 3D contour here. So, and if you guys think of something, after hours, at night, shoot me an email, good, bad, whatever you guys want. Tell me what you want to see. Any questions regarding tech support also, shoot me an email. Email's always on. For those of you guys that were here a couple weeks ago, I think Justin did the night class because I was out farming, but even though I'm out farming, I still have my email on me. So, but if that's it, if we don't have any other questions, guys, thanks again for taking the time out of your night for listening here. And like I said, any suggestions, ideas, anything at all, shoot those over to me. If you guys have more questions about machine sim or probe, kind of talk to those previous ones, let me know. Or if you guys are looking at purchasing, looks like Clarence, we're kind of looking at it. Tell your account manager you want the KevCAM special. So they gave me permission to. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, this is Terry. I just want to thank everyone for coming to Kevin's class. I think it really is outstanding what Kevin's doing. And the great questions, Clarence, nice meeting you as well. And like I said, I see Rick, my buddy, in there. I'm available too. If you ever have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. It's terry.hurley@solidcam.com. Give me a call. Even if you're not in my territory, I'd be more than happy to help out, answer questions. So any way we can help, just give me a shout, shoot me an email, or whatever.
Absolutely,
thanks. I really appreciate everyone's time.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. And then I will get this posted up on YouTube as soon as I get finished rendering and editing here. So it should be up there shortly for you guys to rewatch if you guys need to. And thanks again. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kevin. Great job.